Good morning. It's pretty dark. 4:30 workout. Trying to get my day started a little earlier just because sometimes it gets crazy during the day, and that means I drop the 8-ball on myself, drop the 8-ball on any physical activity, taking care of myself. So I'm trying to form the habit of waking up at 4 and being ready for a 4:30 or 5 o'clock workout every morning. Sometimes I'm late. I'm a little later this morning, but that just happens. I forgot to do a breakdown of yesterday. Yesterday at 3 Timbers, it was a rain day. Rainy. Actually, Minnesota's gotten some rain over the last week. We've been in a pretty big drought. We've been in droughts for 3 years now, and yeah, our droughts have been bad enough that we lose like 30% of our mowing clients in the middle of the summer here. And I mean, even yesterday we still had some people call and say they're putting their mowing on hold because their grass isn't growing. So hopefully couple douses of rain last week will start getting things green for a little bit, keep our mowing crew going. That being the case, our mowing crew lead, he's still doing a good job, really working hard. We have a couple of questions, but yeah, he's working hard, doing great. And he's actually got a buddy, I believe, that I will be interviewing tonight that he wants to bring in and add to his team, which would be pretty awesome because we are looking for another crew member right now. And to this point, like, some of the people I've interviewed are not good fits. So if this guy is a good fit and it's someone that our foreman knows and likes, A+. It saves us money on both ends, and it already gives them a dynamic that they can work with, which is pretty sweet. With that rain day yesterday, when we have rain days, you know, sometimes you struggle to know what to do. Some guys need money, and obviously we need money too at 3 Timbers. But yeah, so with that being the case, we ended up having the bulk of the team take yesterday off. Then we had our hardscape team, so that was just a group of 3 guys. We had them actually go down to our hardscape supplier. We want them to keep honing in their skills, so I gave them a couple of fictitious projects. So I gave them dimensions, sizes, what kind of job it'd be. So I gave them a couple patios, block retaining walls, stairs, I don't know what else, but I gave them a couple projects and I said, go there together, walk through the materials. I want you guys to pick out your materials. With that, I want you guys to write a plan on how you build that project. And I want you guys to submit that project plan. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I guess I didn't phrase it well. Like, I originally wanted Drew to sit there at Herman's with the team and create a project plan together and submit it to me. But I talked to him at like 1 and they were already gone, and I was just told that they were gonna submit all individual plans later. So I gotta figure out how to work my communication because I thought I made it pretty clear, but once again, I'm just failing to figure out communication with Drew. We just communicate differently, I guess, and it leads to a miscommunication almost every single time we talk somehow. So yeah, it's really freaking annoying, personally. It's almost like I need to write a book every time we talk, and then there just can't be any miscommunications. But I guess I get lazy on the bit and just think, oh, that's pretty straightforward, and that makes sense to me the way I said it, when it doesn't make sense to him, I guess, the way I say it. So maybe I'm saying it out loud. Maybe I just have to be like, repeat back to me what you're supposed to do, because maybe I just say it completely wrong, therefore we have the miscommunication. So maybe if I can have him repeat it back to me, maybe I'll realize that I'm an idiot and don't know how to speak, so I can change it and say, no, that's not what I meant. But anyway, so hardscape team, they went out, they practiced, I hope, I guess. And then Drew actually went and got some caps for a job that we need to finish up, retaining wall caps. and he went out to Delano and picked up one of our dump trailers, because one of our dump trailers, so here's what happened, and I guess this is something we could have prevented from a standpoint of if we would have kept an eye on it. I guess our secondary battery on our trailer, which goes to the emergency brakes, fried. So within a dump trailer, you have two batteries. I guess the main battery is a big, like, car battery, almost. Not that big, but close to. And that's the battery that's used to actually dump the trailer. So it makes the trailer bed go up and down. The second battery is a small battery that, you know, your emergency brake, if you guys can think of trailers, there's a emergency brake where you attach a secondary line to your vehicle. So if your trailer falls off your hitch or detaches from your vehicle, that secondary line will pull the emergency brake. And when that emergency brake pulls, I guess a secondary battery locks up the brakes. So our secondary battery just, I guess, blew out and then melted. So that's something we didn't even know existed, number one. And number two, didn't know that a battery could melt like that. But yeah, so that melted, and I guess for a couple days there, a while back, that means our emergency brakes were locked on. I don't know who was driving at that time, but I guess our emergency brakes locked on and no one noticed it. And we just burned through our back brakes and then messed up the rotors and everything else on that trailer. But I guess we haven't had brake pads for a couple months, and that's why it's been squeaky. And yeah, so that's pretty funny. I do wonder how hard it was to drive those first couple of days when those things were locked on. I'm very, very interested, but it is what it is. Luckily, redoing rotors and brake pads and the discs or whatever they're called, luckily that's a lot cheaper in a trailer. So we got out of that repair for $1,000 instead of, like, you know, we just had a truck that had that, and that was like $3,600 or $4,000 to fix. So definitely better, but we also need to just figure out how we do regular maintenance checks, make sure everything's working. We need like a checklist to know what we even need to check. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So that's kind of what the hardscape team did. They also forced some of them to clean all of the trucks. Another one kind of cleaned out one of the side sheds, moved a bunch of pallets around, garbage, reorganized, and then Brad's out of town, so that's one manager's out of town. Drew was with them. Brian actually came into the office and he started to break down some KPIs, some key performance indicators on a couple of our jobs. And yeah, we kind of dove into the hardscape team a little bit more, because hardscape team is still kind of killing us. And I, surprisingly, before we did a couple of breakdowns, I was under the impression that the hardscape team just was spending too much time on job sites and they were putting in way too many hours, so they weren't being efficient from the standpoint of, like, they were just taking too much time to complete a task. What we actually learned is the reason the hardscape team is on the job site for so long, like our last job was supposed to be done in 2.5 weeks and it was done in 4. Believe it or not, they actually hit the labor hours quoted on that job. The problem is they just are not on a job site very long every day. So they should have gotten it done based on the amount of labor hours that were tracked there. They should have gotten it done in like 2.8 weeks. But because they were working like 5 to 6 hour days, it took them 4 weeks. So we gotta make sure they are on site all day. They need to fulfill their 40-hour work weeks. So that's just a project management problem, and we need to make sure there's more stuff on site, and we need to make sure the job just keeps moving, because even though we might have been positive when looking at the labor comparison for the job site, we probably paid out $9,000 in payroll for that job, and we quoted it at probably $14,000 or so in payroll. So we made $5,000-6,000 there. Because the job went so long, and believe it or not, you have other expenses in a business, you still, because you move so slow, we'll still end up losing money or being break even, because the expenses that we have outside of that just add up during that long time period. So we need to be generating more profits and revenue during that time period for that team. So yeah, that's very interesting. It definitely changes our mindset and how we approach working on efficiencies. So KPIs, diving into projects, is hugely important. Can't say it enough. We do not do enough of that here at Three Timbers, and that is becoming one of our big focuses. So it's good. It's good. So good morning. Happy morning. I don't know when you're going to watch this, and I don't know when this will be posted. So yeah, there's your update. Have a good day.